Hi guys, just recording a little video here which is something just a little different from all the usual stuff, and yeah, so I decided actually to do this just kind of like a kind of off-camera video where you don't see my face. Yeah, I'm going a bit camera shy on it. No, but no, it's just to kind of put more emphasis on the subject to the video, and the subject of the video itself here is of course a new camera that I've just bought. Well, I say it's new, it's actually a second-hand camera. And the camera in question is the Olympus E-M1 Mark II, which is the second upgrade to the model that I've actually got, which is, I've got the original E-M1 Mark I, which is, that's a camera I've been using for the last 4 years. So I've actually had my eye on this camera for quite some time, but the problem is the cost of the camera originally was very high, so... but thankfully now it's come way down in price since its release 4 years ago. And yeah, so I finally decided to save up my pennies and go in and actually get it. Yeah, it's a really good camera. I'm very happy with it so far, and it's got plenty of extra new features which the Mark I version didn't have. Yeah, so just to say a few things about the features of the camera. First off, it's got a rotational flip-out screen. So it's it there, it can flip out, it can actually cover itself, so that way the screen's protected, or you can, as I said, you can flip this out, if I can get it the right way around. Yep, it can flip the other way, so that way you can actually obviously see the readout of the screen itself. And yeah, so that's the screen there. Fine if I do that. I've actually put this on a white bit of cardboard, so that way it's actually quite a clear background. The main difference between this camera and the E-M1 Mark I is that this has got a 20 megapixel sensor as opposed to 16 megapixels, so you're getting an extra 4 megapixels. It's just allowed you to create kind of slightly bigger prints and allow for a little extra room to crop your images as well. So yeah, that's really quite helpful, and it's quite handy as well. I'll show you some of the stuff on it anyway. So we've got the side compartment here, and this shows you, unlike the first camera, it's actually got 2 slots here for memory cards, so which is an excellent addition. Again, it's safe to say that this is a kind of pro level camera. It's got the 2 memory card slots here, so you can shoot and fill up one card, and then it can switch over to the other card below. Once one memory card's full, it'll just go into automatically the second memory card. So that's the big bonus, obviously, between having the 2 memory card slots. And obviously, for example, wedding photographers will benefit from this kind of setup very well. Another interesting aspect of this camera is, and it's one I'm quite keen to try out, and I think I'll do a video on it. Yeah, it's got what are called is, I believe, the high resolution shot. It's a kind of high resolution shot mode. So it's the high resolution shot, and it basically takes and combines. It says here it takes and combines 8 pictures to create a super high resolution image. So yeah, that is definitely something I'm very keen to try out in this camera, and yeah, it's certainly one of the reasons that I quite fancied giving it a go. This, as it says though, it does require using a tripod, and yeah, unfortunately, yeah, that's the trade-off is these types of shots. It can only do it using a tripod to get it effective, because obviously it's taking 8 subsequent pictures, and if you're going to try that against moving subjects, it's not going to look great. You're just going to get motion blur in the shots, and it's just not going to work out very well. So obviously you need to use it with static objects. Like, for example, if you're doing product photography, you're photographing an item of some kind, or you could be photographing still life things, or it could be things like fruit, to pick up the texture of things. Then this mode, I think, would be great. I think it'd be really ideal for actually picking up the extra detail. So yeah, it does create what is a 50 megapixel image. I think that's a really impressive feature, and I'm very keen to kind of make that into a little video as well. So obviously I'm very much going to try and use the E-M1 Mark II as my main camera and see how we get on with it. So, and in terms of its ergonomics and its handling, it's very similar to the Mark I version I've got anyway, so there's not really much to complain about there. But yeah, I'm very keen to give this high-res shot mode a go at some point. Yeah, as for the camera's other settings, it's very similar, as I said, to the M1 Mark I. but it's also got plenty of its own additional new features. One of the most notable ones I think I'd seen was it's now got 4K video, so that's really good. Yeah, it's got 4K video at 25 frames per second, as well as like full HD at 50 frames per second. It's also got even what's called DCI, or I think it's Cinema 4K. That's actually what I think is really genuine 4K. The 4K that we know is, generally speaking, it's what's called UHD, ultra high definition. So, but yeah, I think the DCI 4K is actually that's the genuine 4K, as opposed to the ultra high definition that we're all kind of used to. It's got quite an advanced autofocus system, which is phase detect, and yeah, I've been quite keen to try and give that a go outside, get some images of the birds in flight. I've not been able to do that successfully yet, which is a bit of a shame, but because I've tried it in my local park and it was very hit and miss, because you're kind of at the mercy of the birds flying around at the right time and just getting them in motion. But it certainly seems capable of doing it. So obviously to do that you would go into the sequential high mode, and then you would fire off shots using that. So obviously you would use single AF, you would switch to continuous AF to actually track subjects, and that's how you would obviously get shots of the birds in motion. Apparently the continuous AF is supposed to be really good in this camera. So right guys, well that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed this. Something a little different, as I said, and yeah, so I'm really looking forward to getting out a bit more with this camera. As I said, I've taken a few shots with it already, just locally, and yeah, I've been quite impressed with the results so far. Yeah, as I also said, I'll be looking forward to giving the high resolution mode a go and see what kind of images I'll come up with. Most likely it'll be kind of, as I said, a still life image, because I don't think it'll work out very well if it's to try and get an image out in the landscape or somewhere. It would have to be a really still static subject for it to really work. So until the next one, this is Kenny saying bye for now, and I'll see you soon.